Good morning, everybody. It's Kenny Schofield with the American Car Classics radio program. Today, I'm coming to you with John Kraman, the voice of Mecum Auctions. We are here at the Orlando Convention Center for Mecum's second time around. Is that right?
Yeah, it's kind of weird, you know, the Kissimmee, Florida auction in January is the world's biggest, but there's enough demand and enough excitement in the Florida market that demand says, hey, come here in the summer. So the Orlando Convention Center, Orange County Convention Center, is so well suited because it's big enough and it's air conditioned, so we're nice and cool.
1,500 cars
Right.
in the middle of the summer. It couldn't be done here in Florida unless it was air conditioned. Kissimmee is the Super Bowl of auto auctions, we do believe, and we're just proud to have you here. This happened because of the COVID pandemic, but you're here to stay, I believe. The crowd is always good. We've been here all 4 days, and it has just been big crowd every day.
Yeah, and what's interesting is you mentioned the COVID situation. Normally in July we have an auction in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And we didn't really have any open dates for July in Florida, although we talked about it for years. So here's what happened. Our venue that we use up in Pennsylvania last couple years has not been available. So we substituted this auction for our Harrisburg auction. But fast forward to today, we did so well at this auction. Last year we did 30 million in sales, and we decided we want to keep this on our regular schedule. And in 2 weeks, we go back to Harrisburg. So now we're doing 2 auctions in the month of July. We love it.
I think where so many businesses slowed down, Mecum Auctions picked up.
That's exactly right. Our dollar numbers, our sell-through rate, the quality of our inventory at all of our auctions, 16 auctions annually, has been at the highest level over the past couple of years. And I think part of that, Kenny, is just in general, people, especially car people, they seem to like cars as an escape right now.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people are also looking at it from the standpoint from life's kind of going by pretty quick. If I always wanted to do it, now's the time to do it. And I think those two factors are really driving this market right now. Glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, I'm 55 years old, and I'm a Florida resident. I'm a fourth generation Floridian, and I grew up loving the Corvettes. And I said to myself, one day I'm going to own that 63 split window.
Oh, yeah.
I quickly realized I was in the wrong tax bracket to do that. But the 66, when I was born, the 67 Stingrays, they're just beautiful, iconic cars. It's something that has hung with me my whole life. We now have a 70 Nova and a 70 Monte Carlo.
Cool.
I had a 70 Monte Carlo when I was 19 or 20, and just it was that era for me. As you say, the guys that come, you know, we're not getting any younger, and we're seeing these things in pristine condition, and maybe we didn't think back then that they would be brought back to the value of what they once were or better.
Right.
And now it's just like eye candy to us older guys that really, we want to still live that and have that, so we just try to go out and buy it when we can. It's just a great thing, a great feeling for us. I know that.
That's exactly spot on, exactly sort of the demographic of the collector car world. Guys like yourself that maybe had a car back in the day, wanted one, and now in this modern era, and I have to give a lot of credit to the folks at the aftermarket, both on cars and on trucks, where they're now starting to make a lot of reproduction parts so we can bring these cars back to life. And not only in stock original forms, but if we want to improve them as far as engines or suspensions or brakes or anything called a resto mod, we can also choose that as an option and move forward. And that seems to be attracting a slightly younger demographic as well, all keeping the spotlight on collector cars.
Yeah, the originality of an old classic car is something great, but this new muscle, this stuff that after the 70s and 80s we saw smog monsters, we thought I don't even know we ever imagined 1,000 horsepower on a street legal car.
Right.
What do you prefer more? Is there a preference? Can you say something about?
Well, I
know you've got both.
Yeah, that's a good point, and that's exactly right. I like them both. And I'll give you probably the best example. You mentioned Corvettes. I'm a Corvette guy too, and I've got other cars. Roughly 10% of the Mecum inventory is Corvettes. That's our number one most popular individual model at a Mecum auction. We do about 40,000 vehicles per year, so that's a lot of Corvettes. But I've got 3 Corvettes. I've got a new mid-engine Corvette, which is phenomenal. I've got a 2010 C6 with an LS3 6-speed, old school kind of a performance package. And then I've got a 1972 Corvette. So the point to this is I've got Corvettes spanning 50 years. Each one of those cars represents an important part in car history and my personal history, my coming of age in the 1970s. And I get an equal, and it's absolutely the same, an equal enjoyment and satisfaction out of all of those cars. They all fit a different mission and a different purpose, but they're all coveted and they're all keepers, every one of them.
You get to call this a job.
It is.
Well, I love the smile because you recognize that this is a job that millions would probably kill for. Sit here and announce the best cars in the world for the best people in the world. I mean,
yeah, Kenny, you know, as a lifelong car guy like yourself, being able to kind of get those pieces put into place where you're able to use a little bit of one's interest and aptitude to make a living is a difficult thing to do. I give a lot of credit to that for Dana Mecum, our company founder, our president, I was a Mecum employee back in 2008, and
Wow.
Danny came and said, hey, we're doing a TV show. I think you'd be good on it. What do you think? I'm like, well, I don't know anything about TV, but I know a little about cars. And here we are now 15 years later with a hit TV show. The auction now is the world's largest collector car auction company by far. And to be just a little part of that and being able to spread not only what's happening with Mecum, but what's happening in the collector car world and why it's such an important part of so many people's lives with our viewers out there. I take it seriously, but you're right, it is a lot of fun.
The streaming world, the computer age, it has made a platform like this that was only seen by the people that were looking for it. It's now seen by, I was a certified chef. I didn't know how to change my oil until I was 19 and I had a kid. And once I changed the oil, it got on my hands,
yeah.
I was in love. I
hooked.
traded it for grease and I went to oil. It was just goosebumps because it's been a lifestyle ever since. We really appreciate this. There's a 1968 Chevelle coming up. It's an L89 for our local people because we record and live in Brevard County and Indian River counties. This car was donated by the seller, by the owner, to the Brevard County Zoo. It's going to go all for charity. The 1968 Chevelle, it's a hardtop, and it's an L89. This thing should bring a great penny. And again, for a local charity, we're really impressed to be able to sit here today and watch this thing go through the block. I'll be anxious to see how that does. I want to say thank you again, John, for doing this with us and being a friend of our show for a number of years now. We call you a couple times a year to talk about all the things that's going on in your world, and we bring it to our world, and it's just a great fit. So once again, thank you very much, John Kraman. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Kenny. Always a pleasure. Stay safe, everybody.